Yes, Mzansi, welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. And for all our adventurers out there, for anybody actually heading out on the road, this is something you want to pay attention to right now, yeah. Talk about the awareness of something involving our best defense against conflicts, and that's between wild animals. Now, it is, of course, snake season, and we all could do with a lot more education surrounding these unique creatures.
People are like, there's a snake season? Oh, come on, man. Well, Steve Marion is back. He's from Deep South Reptile Rescue, a brilliant company dedicated to conservation first through education about reptiles, especially snakes, and it kind of helps both sides of the species chain there. And he's going to join us now to offer some insight on how we can all be safe and respectful, because if any creature out there demanded our respect, it is us. Steve, how are you, Ricky?
Yeah, good morning, bro.
I'm good.
On again, guys.
Listen, obviously this is a season where there's activity, so firstly, is there a snake season? Is that a thing?
There is a snake season.
Okay.
Our summer months, well, spring and summer months are the start of the snake season, so from sort of September through to the end of March is the busy time. But we do get snakes all year round. Some snakes like our mole snakes and our puff adders, and some of our smaller snakes like olive house snakes come out in winter time as well when it's cooler. So when it's a warm day you might still see a snake, but normally in summer is the time you'll see them.
Okay, and when we say busy, what are they busy doing? Are they working? Are they on holiday? What do they get out there and do, man?
Obviously some snakes like our Cape Cobras, they lay eggs, so they depend on summer to lay their eggs and be able to incubate their eggs. They can't do it in winter because it's too cold. So there's higher activity then. They also need heat for digestion. So without heat, they can't digest their prey. So they need the summer months to be able to feed and stock up.
It's just like us.
Yeah, seems just like it.
Festive season.
So obviously awareness is going to help us in dealing with these situations, dealing with these encounters. I know it's quite a loaded and broad question, but what do we really need to know about snakes, especially for someone that has no idea what to expect, no idea what to do, and I'm potentially going to encounter one on a path or a trail?
Yes.
What do I need to know? Yeah. Apart from the fact that I'm going to be scared.
Nobody should try to touch or catch or kill a snake without having training.
Okay.
So if you live in this country, it's very important to get the education in. So we're all about conservation through education.
Brilliant.
And I believe, it's my belief, that every child before he leaves primary school should understand what lives in our garden, especially when it's dangerous.
Yeah.
So it's important to try and learn. Get a book. There's a nice book. Some of these pictures come from the book. It's written by a friend of mine, Tyrone James Ping, and it's Snakes of the Western Cape. So that documents all of the venomous snakes, and you can quickly learn how to identify them from there. You can also come and do a course with me, and I'll teach you how to identify them properly. If you're an avid hiker, we teach you basic first aid, all the do's and don'ts. And on the bottom of my poster, there's obviously the emergency numbers, which is very important. If you're going to go out in the mountains, you should have that in your phone.
Completely. It's one of those things, it's like your EpiPen or something like that. You don't really think about it until you need it. And then it's vital to know, because acting very quickly at the right time could literally save lives.
Yeah. It does. Yes.
Let's flip that coin here. There is a reason why there is such a strong conservation effort around snakes in particular. When we talk about apex predators, these guys are kind of in a class of their own. Why is it so important to protect all the snake species?
Yeah, there's many reasons. That's a vast question, but the main reason is the cycle of life. They are a vital source of food for our bigger predators, number one. And number two, they control the population of smaller predators, like our rodents.
Yes.
So without having snakes, we'd have a bad agricultural year, because we'd have too many rodents eating up all the grain and bringing more disease towards us. So snakes help to control that and keep those populations under control. So they benefit us greatly.
And they're cool.
Yeah, we really...
They're super cool, man.
And a quick mention can be given as well to the medical uses of the venom. There's a lot of cancer research being done from the venoms and things like that that can help us as well.
And apart from them being cool, and I think pretty incredible in terms of their look as well.
Yes.
Which ones are the ones that you should really avoid, and which ones cause a lot of conflict with humans? Which ones are the ones we sort of encounter a lot of?
In our area here, I don't say any snake is aggressive. They're all defensive creatures. And the three most venomous we get are behind you there. It's the boomslang, the Cape Cobra, and the puff adder.
Oh, it's those eyes I'll never forget, eh? The eyes for me.
So that's how you identify the boomslang, because it's got the biggest eye of any of our venomous snakes. So you can see that quite clearly, and they've got a long, slender body. And a lot of people in the Western Cape believe boomslang are green because they are elsewhere in the country, but they're not. The males are yellow and black normally, and the females are brown and cream normally.
I think as a rule, you see a snake in a tree, you just go the other direction. The chances are it's going to be hyperpoisonous, you know.
But look, out of the 42 species we've got in this area here, we're only worried about those 3. So our odds of finding a venomous one are actually very slim.
Okay.
And this year in particular, I mean, our statistics are lower. So we're actually recording lower amounts of snakes caught because we operate in a group called Catchers United. It's got 20 of the best catchers from Cape Town to Cape Point. And we record all our data. So we keep notes of what we did last year versus what we did this year.
Oh, wow.
And we can see there's been a decrease because we had some heavy rains, we had some very cold weather coming into summer. So we haven't really seen a lot of the cobras yet. We're recording less numbers of those. The puff adders are stable, boom slungs are kind of the same, but the cobras are less.
And at least with those cobras, generally, from what I've seen in my encounters with the Cape Cobra particularly, they'll let you know when they're there. They will let you know.
Importantly, all snakes let you know. I mean, the cobra will do that. The puff adder's got its name because it will puff. It will inhale air, and then it blows it out through that enlarged nostril, and it puffs. So the chances of you getting bitten, I mean, if you're not trying to catch and kill it, it's only like a 15% chance you might accidentally step on one by mistake. And those are negligible things that you can't get away from living in a country like this. That's why antivenom is an essential drug, and we should have it.
Yeah, and speaking of, we were having a conversation also off camera about the antivenom, and I know a few months ago maybe we were reporting on somewhat of a scarcity of antivenom, which kind of got, I know in the hiking community, also like, wow, is it worth it going out now? Like the risk is even bigger.
In the snake community where we deal with snakes every day, it was a serious issue.
Okay.
We had a serious antivenom shortage crisis, and there's various reasons for that. But this year they have sent out antivenom, in the Western Cape is currently stocked, so we do have at all our main vets and main hospitals. So we're good for the moment, but we're going to see how it progresses.
Yeah, we can breathe. We can go back to the mountain, bro.
Yeah, I know. Well, maybe. Like, let's see. It does obviously beg the question that we do need to keep our eyes peeled as a community and help each other out here. So that being said, if you've had any amazing encounters, maybe you've called out Steve or one of our fellow snake catchers here and have some cool pictures or a video to show us, or if you have any questions, please let us know. You can hit us up on our social media platforms. We'd love to connect with you. Steve is not going anywhere. We are talking snakes. Yes, it is a little unsettling, but we are here for that. A lot of education on the way.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Yeah, so Zazi, welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and still diving into an incredible conversation. If you didn't already know, then 'tis the season, and not just the season of celebration and the festive, but also of snakes and reptiles. And Steve Megat is here from Deep South Reptile Rescue. It's a company dedicated to conservation through education about reptiles and especially snakes. And this is why we are still carrying on this conversation, to get some more insight and how we can stay safe and be respectful around these magnificent creatures. And they really are magnificent. We were talking about some of the basics and the do's and don'ts and what's happening this season, but let's get into the nitty-gritty, because I know a lot of South Africans right now are planning outdoor adventures, so we want to celebrate that, but also equip them. So maybe we can go through this list. I see you've obviously got the poster here with a lot of the different sort of, we call them species, right?
Of different species of
Read anything.
So prevention is obviously better than cure.
Yes.
We did touch on the antivenom shortage crisis, but before you need that, so prevention is better than cure, and knowing these snakes and how to identify them is key.
Yeah, let's play that example. Let's say I'm going out on a hike and I was to encounter any of these magnificent snakes. What are some of the things I need to know and be aware of, do's and don'ts, and how to deal with that situation? Maybe you can go through the list here.
Okay, well, going through the list, the top 3, the boomslang, the Cape Cobra, and the puff adder are the most widely spread snakes that we see that are medically significant to people. So those snakes can harm you. If you get bitten by those, you need to get to the emergency room ASAP, and you need to possibly get treatment from antivenom. It's only about 30% of bites that actually need treatment from antivenom, but those 3, they are responsible for most of the bites that do require treatment.
So these 3, call an ambulance, don't waste time.
Don't waste any time, get to the emergency center as soon as you can.
And I always hear this question of like, what kind of snake bit you? If you aren't aware of that, is it a good idea to try to take a picture or try identify it? Does it help?
It's always beneficial, because there's some species like our berg adder and things like that that aren't included in the making of antivenom. So if it's been a puff adder, a Cape Cobra, a boomslang, or any of the other 10 venomous snakes they use for making antivenom, it would be beneficial if you can tell a description of the snake, or if you've got a picture of the snake, But it's also very important to get clear of the snake. So don't risk a second bite by trying to
Go, let's get a picture. Ah, go again. Okay, makes perfect sense. Right. So we mentioned the top three that we could expect. Obviously, moving on from that, we've got the berg adder and the others here.
The berg adder you get from Table Mountain, going up into the high elevations, and you get it going further north. So you don't really get them down south anymore. You used to, but they haven't been found down south for a long, long time. The black spitting cobra at the bottom there as well, that spits. So that can spit venom, but luckily we only get that on the tip of the west coast of the Western Cape as it starts leaving the Western Cape. And the rinkels also spits, although it isn't a cobra. That's a monotypical species, which is
It
actually
looks
my
so
favorite.
cobra-like, yeah?
Yeah, because they can make a hood, they can spit, but they give live birth, like a puff adder. So they're quite a special species of snake.
What?
Yeah.
No eggs?
No eggs.
What? I thought reptiles had to lay eggs.
No, so those, the puff adder and the rinkels, they have their eggs on the inside and they maternally incubate them. And then they have the live babies. The babies come out in an embryo sac and then they come out ready to go. They're replicas of their,
That is crazy.
their parents, yes.
And then obviously later on, like the egg or part of it just like releases after that, or?
Yeah, so the embryo sac comes out, and there's a little bit of yolk in there, and they're still attached to an umbilical cord. So they drink that, and it takes them a couple of hours, maybe a day. And then once they finish with that, they separate and they go their own way.
That's
Ready to go.
insane. That's incredible. All right,
then
well, look,
obviously-
we've done half of it, but I see we've got a couple more on this side here. Why did we separate these lists in the first place? Is this because these ones are more venomous?
These ones are more likely to be seen, and they're more medically significant than these ones over here. These ones over here, majority of them you will get treated symptomatically for. So you don't need antivenom for those.
Okay.
But they are dangerous enough that they'll put you in hospital and you would need to seek medical attention.
So regardless whether one of these even gets you or the top three on this list, you still want to
Go to
make
the
the call,
hospital.
still go to hospital.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Don't mess around with it.
Even if it's a non-venomous snake and you get scared, because some people panic themselves into symptoms and they
Yes.
start thinking that they're envenomated, go to the hospital. It's better to go and be safe than sorry. I mean, like I said, prevention's better than cure. So
I absolutely love that, man. Listen, there's so much going on here when it comes to having education
Yes.
and having these sort of beautiful creatures sort of demystified. Because a lot of us just run and are scared and are like, I don't want to deal with it. So it's good to know the do's and don'ts. We've got so many people coming through with this conversation. We've got a voice note here that I want to actually just see if you can listen to it. Let's listen. This is from Antoinette. What does she have to say? Antoinette, good morning.
Good morning. This is Antoinette speaking from Krugersdorp. I'd like to know if there's anything that you can plant in your garden that will keep snakes away. Is it possible? Is there anything that will help? Please let us know. Enjoy your day, Expresso show.
Thanks, Antoinette. Okay, the good question, because I think a lot of people would actually want to get rid of the invite for having snakes in their homes. So how do they do that?
So that brings us to the real way of getting, mitigating snakes from coming into your property. So basically, snakes are simple creatures. They want three things. They want shelter, because anything over 40 degrees is fatal for snakes. They're cold-blooded. They can't sweat like us and cool themselves down. So anything more than 40 is fatal for them. They want rodents, because that's what their food, and they want water. So if you bring those three elements to your house, if you leave a lot of things laying around in your garden, it creates shade. If you leave your doors open, they see the shade. So they often come inside houses because it's more than 40 degrees on the ground. They have to get out of the heat, so they come in by mistake. If you've got a lot of mice, they come for the food. So planting things and that is a common myth. So around snakes, there's many, many myths. They don't smell like we do with our nose. They use their Jacobson's organ, which is a special thing in their head, and they use their forked tongue, and they pick up pheromones on the ground. All right? So that, and in the air. So repellents, petrol, diesel, J's fluid, all those things, complete myths, people. Please, don't waste your money on that stuff.
Okay, so
It does not work for snakes.
unless you're going to get rid of your roof, cut the water off. And I've also heard the rumor that there's so many more snakes in our houses, in our gardens, that we're even aware of, and they're far more scared of us than we are of them. So they're often hiding away, and we just never see them, right?
Exactly. So what's happened is we've built up our communities in and around their area. They've always been here for hundreds of thousands of years already. And they've learned to adapt. So we've got a lot of non-venomous species of snakes that live in and around our houses that we wouldn't even know about. You've got your little common slug eaters in the garden. They eat the snails and that and keep your plants safe. You've got your Olive snakes, olive ground snakes they're called. They control populations of small rodents. They wipe out rat nests and things and keep everything clean so that we don't get diseases from rats.
Okay.
So they're very important.
Symbiosis right there. So listen, before we go though, man, this has been incredible. I think we could chat for days, and I know kids, adults everywhere are just like, wow, probably blown away by this information right now. But silly question, you've had so much experience right now. What's the biggest snake that you've encountered or dealt with?
The biggest snake I've dealt with is actually my own snake. It's a snake called Karma.
Karma?
So there's Karma there. There's a picture of Karma.
What, is that the back part of Karma as well? Is that another snake?
That's the back part of Karma.
Is it the same snake?
All the way around there. So basically, she's close to 8 meters long, and she weighs around 100 kilos.
What do you feed a snake like that?
She gets piglets. She gets stillborn piglets. I get them from the pig farmer because pigs obviously have 10 nipples, and they sometimes have 11 babies. And all the babies choose a nipple and they don't share. So there's always a stillborn. There's always a runt of the litter that wouldn't make it, and I get all those for Karma, so she eats those.
Crazy. What does Karma weigh?
She is about 100, 109 last time I weighed her.
So I reckon should give Oxen Chair a run for his money. That's some proper weight. Right, and she's chilling at home with you. Like, is she just waiting in the bed for you to come back? How does it work?
Look, she's got her own house, and she needs actually extra care. So I can't handle her on my own because of the size of her. She's 8 meters of pure muscle. So you need, like, 3 or 4 volunteers to help you out and move
Okay, well, can I just ask you, if she ever does go missing in your home, can you please let us know?
Definitely.
Let the whole of the Western Cape know that you're
I would have search parties out. That's my baby.
Listen, Steve, thank you so much for coming through.
You're very welcome,
Absolute
man. Thank
legend.
you.
I hope you don't encounter too many crazy situations and life-threatening situations, but just saving lives and collecting some more of these beautiful specimens. But thank you for coming through and educating, man.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Well, Mzansi, I hope you're ready for the festive now that you have some more sort of ease at mind, knowing that you don't have to worry too much. Be aware you've educated yourself, and now you're going to go have some fun in the outdoors. Or if not, call Steve. He's got you covered.